Welcome to Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. You are going to hear the stories from the eclectic life of a guy who is a professional counselor, a family man, a SWAT team chaplain, outdoor enthusiast, a guy involved with ropes, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, a chaotic Jedi, and who is a recipient of an honorary doctorate from the University of Adversity. Using these stories, we take the facts lead to concepts, and from the concepts we make a variety of life applications. Just a caveat about the facts. Most of the time we will tell you the facts just the way it happened, but once in a while we'll give you the facts the way other people remember how it happened, and that usually includes a tablespoon of embellishment. No harm is meant, just good, clean fun for educational purposes. Please subscribe and share this with your friends or your enemies. It might help them to be better people if they listen. As always, we thank you for keeping up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. Faulkner University introduces the Master of Arts in Christian Counseling and Family Ministry. Many youth ministers are not well prepared for the complex challenges facing youth, parents, and families today. The program is not designed to fulfill any requirements toward becoming a licensed counselor, but is designed to equip the career youth and family minister to do just that, minister to families, by integrating prevention-oriented counseling skills and intervention strategies within a church setting. Courses include, but are not limited to, counseling skills, counseling couples and families in crisis, family dynamics, human intimacy and sexuality, parent and character education, and church assessments. All courses may be completed online from the convenience of your home or workplace and at the time that fits your schedule. Most courses are only 8 weeks long. There is a 60% tuition discount for members of the Church of Christ. Visit the website faulkner.edu/KGST. KGST stands for Curley Graduate School of Theology. That's faulkner.edu/KGST, or contact Jimmy Holland, Director of Biblical Studies Recruiting, at jholland, HOLLAND, jholland at faulkner.edu with any questions or to find out about the eligibility requirements for the tuition discount. Faulkner University is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. The syncopated pop funk beat, set at a tempo of exactly 117 beats per minute in a 4/4 time signature and built on a rhythmic bass line featuring Michael Jackson's own actual heartbeat, is the signature sound of the pop smash Smooth Criminal. Now, this is not to be confused with the ankle submission of the same name, although it's based on some of the dance moves. The song begins with these words: "As he came into the window, it was sound of a crescendo. He came into her apartment. He left blood stains on the carpet. She ran underneath the table. He could see she was unable. So she ran into the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom." And then, through the course of the next 4 minutes and 18 seconds, the phrase, "Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?" is repeated 39 times. Now, sometimes that number is different because when they do it live, there's some ad lib. But "Annie, are you okay?" is sung 25 times, and "Are you okay, Annie?" is stated 11 times, and then the phrase, "Will you tell us you are okay?" is actually repeated 3 times in the song. Hibbs, Hallmark and Company, or Worldwide Outfitters and Guides were the only 2 companies that would ensure a standalone challenge course. Most challenge courses or ropes courses are attached to or part of a camp or a campus or some kind of an organization. The Kill Mountain Project, under the corporate name Inner Quest, was a ropes course, and it was only a ropes course. It was a ropes course only. We had no corporate offices. Our office was the mountain. All the owners and instructors had other jobs, and most of them were unrelated to the activities on the mountain. But when we came together to do projects on Kill Mountain, it was just that. We were there as a company and as a standalone venture. The ropes course on Kill Mountain was insured by Worldwide Outfitters and Guides. They did not insure corporations like Old Hibbs and Hallmark did, but they only insured outfitters and guides. Thus, the genius marketing name Worldwide Outfitters and Guides. Now, even before the course operations were subsumed entirely by my company, being part of the Kill Mountain project allowed us, because we were insured by Worldwide Outfitters and Guides, to branch out into the world of corporate consulting, leadership training, adventure therapy, and outdoor education. Now, once my company took over the course and the overhead, and by overhead I mean leasing the property, buying the equipment, replacing the equipment, repairing the course, buying the cables, paying for the inspections, and paying the bill from Worldwide Outfitters and Guides, those expenses were no longer divided among the principal owners of the former company, but were solely and entirely paid by moi. The insurance alone was $5,000 a year. Now, the upside of paying for an insurance policy with Worldwide Outfitters and Guides was I was insured as a guide. And although I never took the class offered by the American Mountain Guides Association and became a single pitch guide instructor, I had been trained in a program for managing a rock site. I received this training from a guy who was an instructor at the Kurt Hahn Leadership Center and also worked for North Carolina Outward Bound. This insurance and this experience allowed us, as in me, to name 3 other locations as also insured. And those spots could be used for climbing or rappelling trips and covered under our liability policy. And thus, because of this insurance policy with Worldwide Outfitters and Guides, I had a foray into guided climbing. Taking people climbing and introducing people to climbing or rappelling is one of the more enjoyable activities I've ever gotten to do. I used it with youth groups, and I used it to teach a specific thing about making decisions and transition management and having anchor points in your life. But guiding for the public, in a we have paid you to do this is different than taking the interested or the adventuresome out for a new experience. We enjoyed climbing so much that for a while we even donated some trips. For several years, we give the option of you could do a trip called Introduction to Rappelling. You could do an introduction to climbing. You could do an introduction to climbing and rappelling, or you could learn to climb ropes and trees like a SRT trip, a single rope technique trip. And we would do that. We donate dealer's choice. If you bought the package, you got to choose what you wanted to do. But we donated that to Agape as a fundraiser thing in their auction. The frustrating part about guiding is that people are paying you to take them. They don't really realize what they're actually paying for. You see, the expectation of what they're paying for is sometimes unrealistic. Troy and I spent a day with 2 clients, and the rappelling part of it was fabulous. There were 2 ladies, and we'd taken them climbing and rappelling. So we were going to rappel first, get them used to being, vertical, get them used to being, trusting the rope. And then we're going to let them climb a little bit, do a little top rope climbing, a single pitch top rope, nothing to it. But when it came to the climbing, all I could hear was Smooth Criminal playing in my mind. The client lady was trying to climb a very minor and easy route. And maybe she was nervous, and maybe she was expecting to be hauled up the rock. Maybe she thought she had rented the experience to be in a Spider-Man movie. But at any time, she did not feel serious tension, and I mean serious tension, against the belay line that was connected to her harness. She would ask, "Lonnie, do you have me? Do you have me, Lonnie?" I began to hum Smooth Criminal in my mind. "Lonnie, do you have me? Do you have me, Lonnie? Lonnie, do you have me? Do you have me, Lonnie? You've been hit by a smooth piece of rock, is what I wanted to say. I could hear. I could hear the beat in my head, or maybe it was just the blood surging through my ears. The 18th thousand time she asked, Lonnie, do you have me? Do you have me, Lonnie? And this was not asked over a period of a 50-foot climb. This was asked over about 52 inches off the ground, and it was asked with the frequency and repetition of 117 beats per minute in a voice that sounded like a stainless steel porcupine sliding down a piece of slate chalkboard and taking pictures of his feet. The problem with being a climbing guide, the problem with being a climbing guide is the fee that is paid. You see, when you pay somebody a fee for that, you pay for the insurance. You pay for the equipment, the ropes, the harnesses, the shoes, the belay devices, the helmets, the water, the energy bars, the gas in your truck, permits to climb, our time, our quote unquote expertise, and the opportunity. You see, you bought, or you at least rented, all of those things. You paid for the opportunity, but you did not purchase the ability. In some cases, the ability just did not exist. People wanted to do this experience and they overestimated or at least misestimated their own personal suitability for the activity. I remember I took a guy to do a rappel. His bucket list thing was he wanted to rappel into a pit. He wanted to do the drop at Stevens Gap. And it's one of the few places that I personally deem as dangerous, but I've done it a number of times. And as we were walking in, and you got to remember, this is a guided trip. So I'm carrying the backpack, I'm carrying the ropes, I'm carrying the equipment. As we were walking in, this gentleman became so fatigued on the walk in that we had to stop. There was no way I was going to put him on rope in a situation inside a pit where if there was a problem, he would be unable to help me help him. I modified what we were allowed to do that day out of my discretion as the guide. And the disappointment he experienced probably ended our friendship. There are some people who should not climb, and there are some people who just can't climb. It may be balance, it may be flexibility, it may be strength, it may be fear that they can't overcome, but some people just never get very far. In some cases, the ability is probably there. When I take somebody climbing, when I choose a spot to say, hey, this is a guided climb, the climb that you do at a guided level is typically like climbing a ladder. Balance, the center of your gravity and your weight all goes on your feet. Your hands hold you in place while you use your feet to advance. This is not high-level, intricate, technical climbing, but some people just don't get that. They insist that they've got to be doing pull-ups the whole time. They try to pull themselves up the rock, and some people never even engage their feet, and then they're frustrated that they can't stay on the rock very long or don't make it up very high. And it's not that they can't, they just can't do it the way they want to do it or think it should be done. And some parts of climbing are kind of counterintuitive. Some people show up and expect it to be like Spider-Man. You just touch the rock and move up, and that's just not the way real climbing works. Some people are unprepared to be scared. They don't expect to be scared, and that gets a lot of people. In any case, as a guide, it is very, very difficult to spend time with a client who is unsuccessful. Some of them are angry at themselves. Some of them are angry at me. And some are just angry at the whole situation. And it's hard. It's just hard to make people feel good about failed expectations. That's the real problem. It's not the climbing that failed, but the expectations that were flawed in the first place. They think, hey, this will be easy. I'll be a natural. They're already posting their social media posts before they ever experience the actual experience. I've never, and let me say this carefully, I've never taken a client to a rock that my 8-year-old daughter had not climbed. Now, I've never told anybody that until right now. I didn't even, as much as I was tempted to, I didn't even tell that to Lonnie. Do you have me? Do you have me, Lonnie? I didn't break that news to them. Most of the time, the failure is not my fault. The failure is theirs. Buying the opportunity does not buy the ability. And please remember that when you mortgage your house to play travel ball. You're paying for a lot of things, but the ability is not one of them. Ability is bought with time, with repetition, with effort and intensity. Now, don't read judgment into that. My wife coached travel volleyball for a number of years, and our daughter played travel volleyball. She played volleyball in high school, she played travel ball, and she played college ball. But she also spent hours, and I do mean hours, with just us in a volleyball court. That's playing volleyball in a racquetball court. She spent hours passing balls and try to have them land and bounce in a hula hoop in our driveway. She spent untold hours practicing and passing, and you get her around some of her friends and they'd make a little circle and they'd do bump drills. Time, repetition, effort, and intensity, those things are not bought. Those are the things that are spent. They're the commodity that you use to get ability. And you can spend the time and the intensity and the repetition and the effort. And you can spend that in your backyard. You can spend that in your garage. You can spend that in your driveway or in a vacant lot. And once you've paid the price for the ability, once you have the ability, opportunities seem to present themselves. Preparation, preparedness is about spending the time, the effort, the dedication, and the intensity. That's the price you pay for ability. And once we've purchased the ability, once we've paid for the ability with time and sweat and adversity, once you've paid that price, more often than not, you'll find the opportunity for free. Using the tool of shortwave radio, World Christian Broadcasting literally covers the world every day with the gospel. They use 2 large curtain antennas. One is located in Anchor Point, Alaska, and the other in Madagascar. They send out messages that are recorded at their international home in Franklin, Tennessee. They make available 40 hours of broadcast every day. The broadcasts are made in English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, English for Africa, and Arabic. They would love for your group to visit them. You can bring your ladies group, your youth group, or your men's group. Just give them a call at 615-371-8707, 615-371-8707, or you can go to 3Ws and a dot, worldchristian.org, find the donate here button, and make a financial contribution to support this work that literally covers the world every day with the gospel. World Christian Broadcasting, in cooperation with Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. They aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. Heritage Christian University produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education and offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and Master of Divinity. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University, formerly International Bible College, has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt after graduation. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu. That's 3 W's and a dot. hcu.edu. Heritage Christian University is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure.